So, I grew up in an Irish Catholic home with a very punishing God. And I came from my father. He was educated by the Christian Brothers, and they really instilled in him a sense of like eternal damnation, burning in hell, and just suffering and punishment. And my dad communicated that to us to some extent. You know, when he got annoyed, he wouldn't just say, like, I'm going to punish you, or don't do that. He'd say, I'll annihilate you! So, by the time I got to New York in my early 20s, it makes sense that I immediately sought out a Jewish therapist. She, you know, dug into my stuff a little bit and started to question me about, so Kieran, tell me about this hell. And I said, well, you're there forever. It's really hot. Like there's a lot of flames and burning, and people are naked, and they might be having sex with each other. I'm not sure. Some of them pat them back, and she looked at me and said, "Well, it doesn't sound that bad, does it?" So that was the beginning of my journey of shaking off that punishing God concept. For my father, it wasn't so easy. He died this past February, and in his last couple of years, he really wrestled with the idea that he had the idea that he was going to go to hell. He thought that he had lived a bad life, and that he had, done terrible things, and that he was damned. And so, needless to say, my mother and my brothers and sisters spent a lot of time trying to convince him that this wasn't the case. And we had various experts come out to the house, different priests. Times had changed in Ireland. Came and tried to convince him that, in all likelihood, he wasn't going to hell. And this one Jesuit came to the house and said, well, Dr. Kennedy, in my opinion, in all likelihood, everybody eventually goes to heaven. And I looked at him and he said, what would be the point of that? So for him, the idea that everybody was saved or could get into heaven was just not a good idea, really. Like it depends on there being good and bad and differentiating. So, and really to the end, he struggled with that. That was something that haunted him. And at his funeral, I was standing with my mother and my sisters and brothers, and we're greeting like throngs of people coming up at Donnybrook Church to offer their sympathies in the inimicable Irish way, which is to say, now Mrs. Kennedy, we're awful sorry for your trouble. And can you think of a more roundabout way to say, we're sorry for your loss, or it's this kind of sorry for your trouble? What does that even mean? But anyway, I decided that I had enough of, these well-meaning people offering their sympathies, and I wandered away and left my mom and my sister to deal with them. And about halfway down the congregation, I noticed this clump of jolly little old ladies, about 5 of them together in a row, and they didn't seem to have any intention of coming off the church and seemed to be quite happy talking to each other. And I thought, let me go talk to these ladies. I'm curious who they are. And it turns out they were members of my father's Legion of Mary group. And something you need to know about me is I love to dance. Like, dance really is my religion. And these ladies told me something about my father that I didn't know, which was that, 2 things I didn't know. Apparently the Legion of Mary had these periodic dances, occasional dances. And my father was like this great dancer at these things. And each of these ladies had some kind of pecking order where this lady told me, I always have the second dance with your father. So, that kind of set me down a path of when I was a little boy, probably about 8 years old, I was on holidays with my father in the west of Ireland, and we were in a dining room in a country restaurant in this Irish town upstairs. And there was like one of these Saturday night Irish country dances going on. And across the room, there were two little old ladies sitting alone at the table. And my father turned to me and he said, "Come on, Kieran, will you go on over, ask them out to dance now and make their night?" And I was like, you know, no, I don't want to do that. But anyway, he got up and started walking in that direction, and I guess I went with him. And so there I am, like up to this lady's waist, kind of waltzing with her and my dad dancing together. But it really was enriching to have that memory come back. And so, you know, after we buried my father, I spent several months at Esalen up in Big Sur. And one afternoon I was sitting in the hot tubs, kind of wondering what happened to my dad. And this image came to me, which was of his father, my grandfather, coming down out of the sky, picking my father up in his arms, and carrying him up into heaven, where, at the gates of heaven, Gabrielle Roth, who, for those of you who don't know, she's the founder of the Five Rhythms, was waving at the threshold of heaven to welcome my father in and have the first dance with him. So, I guess my God